Japan. Just saying the name conjures images of neon cities, delicate cherry blossoms, ancient temples, and sushi so fresh it practically melts in your mouth. Imagine a country that isn't just a single landmass, but a vast chain of over 6,800 islands stretched like a necklace across the Pacific. It's easy to think of Japan as from main islands Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, but that's only the beginning. This archipelago spans nearly 3,000 kilometers from north to south. That's like traveling from the Arctic chill to the subtropics without leaving the same country. In the north, Hokkaido's winters are fierce, with snow piling meters high, while in Okinawa in the south, palm trees sway over turquoise beaches. This incredible spread means Japan has a staggering range of climates, habitats, and wildlife. Entirely different ecosystems coexist across these islands' cold temperate forests, with brown bears up north, steamy jungles with mangroves and coral reefs in the south. But Japan isn't only defined by its length or its islands. Over 70% of its land is mountainous. These aren't gentle rolling hills, but dramatic, steep ridges blanketed in forests that hide ancient shrines and steaming hot springs. It also isolated communities, letting them develop unique dialects, customs, and cuisines. Even today, traveling through Japan feels like discovering a series of hidden worlds, each valley and village with its own identity. Cities are forced to grow upward instead of outward, and farms carve narrow terraces into hillsides. The Japanese learn to respect the limits of their land, to cultivate it with extraordinary care. Rice paddies aren't just food production, they re-engineering marvels that have turned impossible slopes into productive fields. These mountains also nurture a sense of humility before nature's power. Forest trails can disappear under landslides. Heavy rains can wash away entire villages. And yet the Japanese don't try to dominate nature so much as live in partnership with it, a theme you see everywhere. From carefully maintained footpaths in cedar forests to temples that seem to emerge organically from the landscape. And then there's the fire beneath the earth. Japan is one of the most volcanically active countries on the planet. But Fuji isn't just beautiful, it is a constant reminder of the raw power that lies beneath Japan's serene landscapes. This volcanic activity is part of a larger truth. Japan sits atop of colliding tectonic plates. Earthquakes are a fact of life here, from minor tremors that rattle dishes to catastrophic events that reshape cities and lives. And yet, rather than giving in to fear, the Japanese adapted. They pioneered some of the world's most advanced earthquake-resistant architecture. They built early warning systems that can save precious seconds. This constant negotiation with an unpredictable, often dangerous environment is part of Japan's identity. It shapes not just its cities and infrastructure, but its culture, a deep, almost spiritual awareness that beauty and danger, creation and destruction are always intertwined. The sea is just as defining, and in many ways even more essential to understanding how this nation lives. Look at a map, you'll see that Japan is never far from the ocean. It wraps around every city, village, and farm, shaping diet, culture, and danger alike. For centuries, the sea has been Japan's highway and its pantry. Fishing fleets venture into some of the world's richest waters, hauling in everything from tuna and squid to seaweed and shellfish. Seafood is not just an ingredient in Japanese cuisine, it's a cornerstone of life. Every piece of sushi on a plate tells a story of the ocean's bounty. But the same waters that provide so generously can also destroy. Generations have lived with this knowledge, carving warnings into ancient stones. Do not build below this point. In modern times, sea walls and tsunami gates stand guard along coastlines, and communities conduct drills so children know exactly where to run when the sirens sound. It's a profound relationship with the sea, a mixture of dependence, fear, respect, and careful adaptation. But Japan's need for the sea goes beyond survival. It's geopolitical, too. Even the tiniest, most remote islands matter enormously. Japan has spent millions reinforcing it with concrete, not for tourism, but to defend its maritime rights. Under international law, owning even that small speck expands Japan's exclusive economic zone by hundreds of kilometers, granting access to precious fishing grounds and undersea resources like oil and gas. With so much of the country covered in mountains, there simply isn't much flat land to go around. Cities sprawl into whatever narrow plains they can find, and farmland is carved into slopes with painstaking precision. Imagine rice terraces rising step by step up a hillside, each level carefully maintained to hold water and soil in place. These are not just fields, they are living monuments to centuries of effort, a testament to the idea that every square meter of usable land is precious. Instead, it rises. Skyscrapers crowd together in neon-lit canyons. Streets twist and fold around old temples and shrines, layering the ancient and the modern in dizzying complexity. It's an urban landscape born of necessity, but turned into something beautiful and alive. Walk through a traditional Japanese garden, you'll see that it's not about imposing order on the land. Rocks are placed to suggest mountains, ponds mirror lakes, and pathways wind to hide and reveal scenes like chapters in a book. It's an aesthetic that says, nature cannot be controlled, but it can be understood, honored, and even celebrated. Nowhere is this attitude clearer than in the love of cherry blossoms. Families picnic under the pink canopies, friends gather for nighttime viewing, and poets try to capture the impossible grace of petals falling in the breeze. The blossoms are a reminder that nothing lasts forever, and that there's value in cherishing moments precisely because they end. Instead of hiding from the cold, people embrace it. Snow festivals transform entire cities into luminous sculpture gardens of ice and light. Ski resorts draw visitors from around the world, famous for their deep powder and pristine slopes. And all of this, the mountains, the sea, the volcanoes, the scarcity of land, the extreme seasons have shaped not just where the Japanese live, but how they think and feel about the world. It's a culture forged in constant negotiation with powerful natural forces. It's an archipelago of surprises, contradictions, and lessons in how to live with beauty and danger side by side. And perhaps, as we face our own environmental challenges around the world, there's something in that philosophy that we all can learn from. Yet there is another dimension to Japan's geography that might surprise you, how the country has turned limitation into innovation, scarcity into creativity. In a land where every meter of usable ground matters, Japanese architecture and urban planning have become an art form of precision and balance. Homes are compact yet ingeniously designed, with sliding doors, hidden storage, and multi-purpose rooms that can transform with a few gestures. It's not just practicality, it's philosophy, a respect for space that says nothing should be wasted and everything should have its place. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, you see this on a monumental scale. Skyscrapers soar above narrow streets lined with tiny restaurants, and bars barely wider than a hallway. Neon signs layer over ancient wooden temples. High-speed bullet trains zip past rice fields that have been cultivated for generations. It is a living collage where the past and future aren't yet worthy neighbors, constantly in conversation. But Japan's relationship with geography is about more than adapting to challenges. It's about embracing them, even finding beauty in them. Think of the forests that cloak so much of the country. They're not simply resources to be cut down and sold. They're living spaces for spirits in Shinto belief, places of pilgrimage and quiet contemplation. Even today, many Japanese see forests not just as economic assets, but as sacred realms deserving of respect. The same attitude extends to water. Rivers are carefully managed, their banks lined with cherry trees whose blossoms turn entire cities into pink clouds in spring. Rain, so often seen as an inconvenience elsewhere, is celebrated for feeding rice paddies and filling reservoirs. Even in the dense urban sprawl, you find tiny pocket parks, ponds with koi gliding silently beneath maples, and shrines tucked under old trees. It's a testament to an idea that no matter how busy or modern life becomes, there must be room for nature. Then there's the surprising geopolitical awareness woven into Japan's sense of space. This is a nation that understands every island counts not just for living on, but for the vast ocean territory it can claim. Tiny, wine-blasted rocks in the sea are reinforced with concrete and defended with all the seriousness of a fortress. Why? Because they extend Japan's rights over fisheries, shipping lanes, and undersea resources. It is a strategic mindset honed over centuries on an island chain with few natural resources of its own, yet surrounded by oceans that promise both riches and risk. It's also why the sea is so deeply embedded in Japanese culture. Fishing villages with colorful boats drawn up on shore, fish markets bustling before dawn, the near-religious reverence for fresh, seasonal seafood. The ocean is a lifeline, a protector, a threat and always a neighbor that demands respect. And when disaster strikes, as it has with tsunamis, earthquakes, typhoons, Japan doesn't forget. It builds, rebuilds, and improves. Ancient warning stones sit side by side with high-tech early alert systems. Evacuation routes are marked, practiced, and drilled into memory. It's a country that understands memory isn't just history, it's survival. Even the harshest seasons become opportunities. Winter on Hokkaido turns from hardship to spectacle with enormous snow and ice festivals that draw visitors from around the world. The biting cold becomes a canvas for luminous art, while ski resorts flourish on powder so perfect it's legendary among skiers. Instead of resisting what nature offers, Japan finds ways to celebrate it, to turn threat into beauty and commerce alike. This way of living with nature rather than against it is not accidental. It's deeply rooted in philosophy and religion, from Shinto's belief in kami, spirits that dwell in all things, to Zen Buddhism's appreciation of impermanence and simplicity. It teaches that life is fragile, that beauty lies in fleeting moments, and that true wisdom comes from accepting rather than denying the realities of the world. So when you think of Japan's geography, don't just picture a dot on the map or a series of islands in the Pacific. Picture a living story, mountains that shake communities, seas that feed and threaten, volcanoes that awe and terrify, forests that soothe and shelter, storms that destroy and teach. It's a country that has taken these forces and made them part of its culture, its art, its daily habits. A country where skyscrapers coexist with shrines, where high-speed trains glide through ancient landscapes, where people have learned to treasure every inch of space, every moment of beauty, and even every danger they can't avoid. In the end, Japan's geography isn't just about where it is. It's about how its people have learned to live there, not by conquering the land, but by understanding it, respecting it, and weaving it into the fabric of their lives. And perhaps in that approach, there's something all of us can learn wherever we call home.